didn't know we were fly fishing.
What is up with that? Where's the pole at? Oh, we put it in the back. I know.
They were all the disco ball. I told you about the disco ball. Did we talk about that?
No.
Yeah.
We can talk about whatever you want.
Talk about how the postman used to take a long time to deliver the mail on my street. Further down the street, he got, the sweatier he became. Then he had a heart attack, and nobody got their Sears Roebuck catalog that year. It was a bad Christmas.
Oh, man. I remember when I was a kid looking through the Sears catalog, thing was like that, the Christmas catalog.
Yeah.
With the bicycle, the BB gun.
Oh, my God.
Never got a damn thing. Yeah. I never wanted out of the catalog.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Chris, and I got Les with me, and we got special guest Lee from Moto Federation. And where's this garage located?
We're located at 1213 York Street, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Hey, this is a very cool place. I got a video we're going to be playing here in the future. Well, actually, in this podcast sometime in about 15 minutes. So please hang out there, and we'll show this whole place in the back. And we're going to talk a little bit about Lee's history and what started him in motorcycle, the little venture he has, with this, that came up with this fabulous freaking garage. You know what I'm saying? This thing's nice. Mm-hmm. So if you do hear some noise in the background, there is a couple of people practicing in the back.
Improv Cincinnati's here.
Yeah, exactly. So a good shout out to them, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Lee, what got you started back in let's see. I don't want to tell everybody how old you are.
Back in the early 2000s.
What got you started with motorcycles?
It started when I actually was a kid. My great-grandmother lived out in Hebron, and my great-uncle, her son, they had property together, and he had an independent motorcycle shop in Hebron. And so when we'd go to visit my great-grandmother, my brother and I, after doing our obligatory time visiting with the family, we'd go outside and play on all the surplus motorcycles that were there that my uncle had stored for repair or doing our bikes. And we'd sit on them pretending we were racing through the woods and being Evel Knievel. Because, we all allegedly grew up with Evel Knievel because I'm much younger than I look. But anyway, that's what started it. Just pretending to be riding motorcycles on these old dirt bikes and probably CB 350s and whatever Uncle Bill had out there. That's really where it started for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna give you my age, but I actually watched Evel Knievel jump the buses at Kings Island on TV.
That's awesome.
Hey, what year was that? We can find out real fast.
Was it 76, 6 or 7, something like that?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I watched it on TV with my mom.
I think you're a couple years older than me, I think.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, I had to watch that on reruns in the 90s. That's how young I
I
am.
watched it live.
Yeah. So what was your first bike?
Very first bike was a Honda, and we still have it, a Honda CM200. It's an 81 or 82. My parents actually got into riding in the early 80s, and that's the bike that my mother learned to ride on. And then it came to me as a teenager, and that's what I learned to ride on.
Mm-hmm. Now, who was it? Who owned the old shop that you talk about all the time over in Hebron?
That was your great uncle.
Yeah,
Great
my
uncle?
uncle Bill. Yeah.
So did you hang out at the shop a lot?
Yeah. So in 86 or 87, I'm starting to give my age away now.
That's the plan, man. That's the plan.
Well, that's when I graduated, 86. So all you folks out there in YouTube land can do the math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a couple summers as a teenager, I worked for my Uncle Bill at his shop. And about half the time was spent working on stuff or taking stuff apart. And the other half of the time was listening to his friends come in, tell stories, talk about what's going on in their world. My Uncle Bill planning a fishing trip with his brother, my grandfather, and stuff like that. So that's what really opened my eyes to, okay, it's not just a repair facility. It's some kind of community spot.
Yeah. So you got any questions for him on that? No. Back in the day, you hang out there.
No, I've been by that building a million times. Always wondered what it was like back in the day, but the building's still there. Some of the old stickers are still in the window when you go by, and it's actually for sale now. So.
So earlier you had you almost put an Indian motorcycle shirt on. So what's your favorite bike manufacturer?
Mine or Les's favorite bike?
Well, I don't know. I can tell his is Indian.
Individual bike, I don't know. Manufacturer, I'm pretty agnostic. It's there are bikes from every manufacturer that I enjoy. Obviously, like you guys, I haven't modern Indian, and so I love that bike right now. But that's not to say that a manufacturer couldn't come up with a bike down the road that I would want to see. I thought the Yamaha, the Stratoliner series that they did, I thought that was a great bike. Yeah.
So how do you feel about the new Harley Davidson design?
I'm impartial.
Impartial?
Yeah, it's are we talking about the $110,000 bike?
That's what everybody's
bike,
conversation is about.
That's the bike that would get me off of my Indian right now.
I think from a design standpoint, obviously Harley's been around for a very long time, and they've got to figure out ways to stay current, not just for people in our age demographic, but people who are half of our age and even younger coming up. And so they're going to have to create different designs and different styles. And it's not, if you apply your self to just one age demographic, eventually we're going to die out, and then that business model could die out. So that's the long answer on the short question of being impartial to the new design for Harley.
So I have a line of questions, nothing embarrassing though, but you have a real job, right?
I have.
And what is that?
I have a real job. Outside of this, when I'm not riding motorcycles, I'm a financial advisor.
So would you advise me to buy some Harley Davidson stock right now?
I can't give that advice, nor I can neither confirm nor deny.
Good answer.
Good answer.
I can't say yes or no.
Wow.
Yeah.
However, if you give me some money, then we can start talking about it.
Okay. Well, yeah. All right. So, but I was looking at the stock. There's so many videos out there, and there's so much competition these days. And the way the economy is right now, people just can't pay $53,000 for a motorcycle. That's where Harleys kind of stand. I mean, even if you look at the $28,000 bike, you're probably leaving out the door maybe 32, maybe more. Indian's kind of close, but you're saving about maybe $4,000, $5,000.
Yeah, it depends on what model you get.
Yeah. So you would think the used market would be freaking huge, right? Yeah. I mean, but they're sitting on the showroom floors. I can't even talk tonight. But anyway, they're sitting on the sales floor. Go ahead. I can't even talk tonight. I'm done.
Bikes aren't moving.
They're not.
Inventories are going up.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is part of the COVID hangover, quite honestly.
Yeah.
During COVID, everybody was buying up boats, campers, motorcycles, because that way you could go do something and socially distance. And now that we're out of COVID and people are sitting around with bikes, campers, and other things that they're like, well, we really don't use this as much as we thought we would, or we're not using it as much. And so people are starting to sell off bikes and campers and boats. That's why inventories are going up. And when I bought my Indian, a month later, the dealer I bought it from offered to buy it back for $1,500 more than I paid.
Oh, yeah. Because it's a good day to sell.
Yeah, great day to sell. But then I got to go find another bike.
Yeah.
And that's when prices really started to go up back then. But to your point now, there are a lot of motorcycles available, great looking bikes available. And a lot of people, unfortunately, if they finance it, are probably upside down on those bikes.
Yeah, I've actually heard that a lot. Several people I know are way upside down on bikes.
Yeah. It's not that the bike isn't valuable or worth something. It's just that supply and demand.
Sure.
Yeah, and they just don't want to give you a trade in either, because it's like your Harley Davidson dealership. You know, they're gonna auction off that bike. They're not gonna sell it on their sell floor. You know, that kind of stuff. So they're not gonna give you that money, and because they know at the auction it's not gonna get that much. You know,
Right.
because there's so many out there right now. So what a lot of people are doing these days, I would say, and they're staying with their bike, right?
Absolutely.
And then that's where we get to this point, like, you know, what's another costly thing that you have to do with your bike all the time?
You got to maintain it.
Got to maintain it.
That's right. You gotta
And what is
maintain
it? So what is this place about?
This is a facility. Well, what is it really about?
Yeah, what is it really about? I've seen some stuff in the back.
Did we talk about the disco ball yet?
Oh yeah, and
Sure.
and the pole. We got a fire
And the pole. Well, it's two. We're bipolar here.
I believe that.
We're a community workspace. And what that means is that people can bring their bikes in, use our facility, our tools to maintain, repair, and restore their motorcycles. It's based off of the auto hobby shops that the U.S. military has. If you tell this concept to anybody who's been in the military or a military family, they immediately know what this is, because there are over 200 auto hobby shops on U.S. bases and installations around the world. And it really started back in the 50s when service members started to have cars themselves, and it became more of a commonplace thing. And it started off in Fort Collins, Colorado, where the base commander realized that they needed a facility for their service members. And by 1958, the military standardized the auto hobby facility and what should be included. Now, this concept here is the same thing. You can bring your bike in, use our tools, use our stands. If you need supplies, we order them in. But the difference between the auto hobby shops and us is this is motorcycles. It takes up much less space.
Sure. So, obviously you have some history in the motorcycle, repair and shops and the community and that kind of thing. But what gave you the idea to start this type of business in particular, rather than try to get a repair shop, like your great uncle had, something like that? This is uniquely different from that.
Yeah, there are about a dozen community motorcycle shops in North America. And what really did it for me is I have a postage stamp size of a yard where I live. And in our backyard, we have a water or a sewer line that runs one way, and then the collection line goes the other way. And because of building codes and having to build within so many feet of the property line and so many feet away from lines, I have only enough space to put up a workshop that would be like a small tin shed. And so sweating my ass off in the driveway, doing an oil change, it's just like, God dang, this sucks. I need a place to work on my bike. And back in 22, started chatting with friends that I rode with, just about, hey, this community garage thing would be great. Wouldn't it be awesome if we had one around here? And maybe I'll do it. And there I am drinking my beer, talking about what a great idea. So the more I talked about it, the more it really stuck with me. Then the more I ran my mouth about maybe doing it, the more people started messaging me, hey, are you the guy who's doing that bike shop? And it just snowballed to the point where it's like, okay, I got to find out if this is viable or not.
So let's go with a little video here. Can you see this screen?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we're going to go, let me see if I can enlarge it here for a second. By the way, if anybody's watching and they wanted to comment, please comment. If you got questions, that kind of stuff, we can ask them at the end, or,
Throw it live.
do it live.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the, come on, there we go. So go ahead, you want to narrate?
All right, so you're now entering our workspace. We have 10 different lifts available, all have the same tool set. As you see, we've got the Superbikes video game. We've got the skee ball. That's set up so people who have kids, they can entertain them. There's a sports that we just took in. That's going to be on for consignment. On this gondola, we have some specialty tools as well as lubrications, cleaners, and everything else. Let's see where you're going.
Let me pause it in there.
Okay.
So you can... let me slow it down a little bit. I wish I was going too fast. I guess it went too fast.
Yeah.
So
It's
this
that energy drink.
Yeah, no. I was just like,
Yeah, we got a parts cleaner there, and we just went past it, but we got a sandblaster. You got to blast your parts out. That's not a problem.
let me go back a little bit here. Let me pause it here. So you said there's a parts cleaner thing here?
Yeah. It's down the line.
Yeah, right down there. Okay.
Yeah, there's the blaster. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And on the other side of that is the parts cleaner.
Okay. You got a lot of benches here, right?
Yeah, we've got 10 work benches available. And we have 2 of the Harbor Freight style lifts for the bigger bikes that you don't want to struggle to try to put it up on a 2-foot bench. But we have a ramp available, so you're not picking a bike up.
Yeah.
And then one of our members, Mark Dowers, he built one of our benches that it's dual purpose. It serves as a ramp to get bikes up on to the bench and can be a workbench itself.
Yeah, usually when I can do this, since you have a group back there, I usually do this live, and you can just talk about it, and I'm much slower. But I did this about 3 or 4 times, and maybe I picked the one I went too fast.
Is this a problem? You go too fast often, Chris?
Yeah, that's what it
Energy
is.
drink.
Energy drink.
It's that Red Bull, Bull stack.
So if a guy wants to come in, he can, do some maybe light overhaul work or anything as simple as changing oil.
Right. Yeah. You can do a tire change, oil change, like you said. We have one of our members wrecked his bike, bought a second bike just like it for parts, and is rebuilding the first bike.
Yeah, I saw that one back there, I think, the other day.
Yeah.
So it's on both.
Yeah, so you can do a full tear down and restoration here. The garage is heat controlled, so you don't have to worry about your bike getting rained on, snowed on. It's secured. We have security here, so it's not like something is just going to walk off.
Sure.
What's the hours?
That's a good question. Monday is members only.
Okay.
We're not open to the general public at that point. If you're a paying member, then you have your own key code access to get in. So you can get in 24/7.
Oh, wow.
Monday is members only. You don't need that snazzy jacket from the 70s and 80s to get in. you have to be a certain age to get that joke.
So,
But to answer your question, Tuesday through Friday, it's 3 to 9. Saturday from 11 a.m., I think, till 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. And then Sunday, noon to 7 or 8.
So Les is thinking about, he's looking at a bike, setting up a kind of like a little hobby. He wants to make it some special, custom bike. So if he did that here and he wanted to film it on YouTube, he'd have to be a member, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then how much you said the member?
Membership rates start at $150 a month, and that gets you 24/7 access and be able to keep one bike here. But we don't give that to everyone right up front because we got to get to know you, make sure you're not sketchy Jeff.
Yeah.
And if you are sketchy Jeff, then see you later.
So I'm pretty sure Chris will never be a member.
Well, I want to put an asterisk on there. This is what is the day's date? This is March 25th, 2025 prices, by the way.
Right.
So,
we insert graphic here.
prices may change.
Subject to availability.
Yeah. So this place might, have 50 to 500 members. They might have to grow. You never know in the future.
Knock down the back wall, expand out. But if somebody wants a store bike, they can do that for $80 a month, and your access is during shop hours. And that also allows us to get to know you as well and work towards that $150 a month if that's the type of access you want. But if you're coming in and you're just like, hey, I need to change my tires and I want to do an oil change, the day rate for that is $45 your first time here. Then any day rate you need thereafter, it's $35. That $10 is just an admin fee for us to get you in the system.
And you got all the tools in the world, so I don't think you would need anything else.
You do not need to bring any tools in. If you're doing a specialty, let's say you're doing the forks on a Harley and you need that special fork tool. If we don't have that here and we know you're going to do that job ahead of time, we will order it and add it to our specialty tool locker that it's here for the next person who wants to. That way you don't have to buy the tool or rent it or try to borrow it from somebody. And if a tool breaks while you're working on something here, just let us know and we replace it. We don't charge somebody for breaking it, unless you're smacking a wrench with a hammer, we're not going to charge you for breaking a tool.
Yeah, a lot of people may not realize that there are specialized tools, especially when you get into some of the Harleys and stuff. If you're going to really tear them, starting to do camshafts and things like that, there are bearing presses and specific things that you have to have. So it's really a benefit to the people who come here not to have to buy those tools.
Yeah, I was watching the guy the other day putting heated grips on a Harley, and he had like 65 tools. that he had to use just to get that done. And then he said he only needed 4 tools for Indian. No, I'm not bashing Harleys. I'm just kidding. But
Chris, I changed the handlebars on my Indian, and I can tell you that 2 tools is BS. Complete BS.
yeah. Do you have any questions for Lee here? Just put them in the comments, and we will ask them. Any questions about this this lovely garage here? Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the convenience of this place. Every time I see you post all the time,
Right.
And I really didn't meet you until we went to the Rheingeist garage.
Garage Brood. Yeah.
And we met there. And
Which is only a mile away from here.
I know it's
Exactly a mile.
but
It's 3 miles coming back, though.
3 miles.
Yeah.
Oh, really? It's a one-way street, and then
Let's say you're pretty familiar with that 1 mile.
it's an Uber.
So,
It's an Uber ride on the way back.
Exactly. You got to tip them really well because they hate driving a mile.
Yeah, exactly. What's really cool is it only took me 15 minutes to come from Bright, or actually Harrison, just to get here,
Yep.
and you're right off the interstate, so it's very convenient. So
Yeah.
it's not like it's a hard place to find.
Not at all. We're literally right off exit number 2 of 75. You look out of our driveway and you can see the traffic on I-75. And when 471 southbound was shut down, we had just opened that same the night of the fire. The very next morning we opened. So our first few months here, I would look out to see what traffic looked like on 75 to determine if I really wanted to try to go home then, or do I wait another 30 minutes? I didn't even have to pull up the Waze app or anything else. Just look out the window to see what the traffic is doing.
So you come off the exit coming from the, south, going south. So you could either turn left, go to Rheingeist, and then come here. But it's going to take you a little longer. Or you can just turn right, and it's like right, left, and you're done. You're right here.
I don't know, you might have a diminished skill set depending on how long you stay at Rheingeist before you come here to work on your bikes. So
I have to put an asterisk there again.
I'd work on the bike, then go to Rheingeist.
Yeah.
In that order.
But not on your bike.
No,
Yeah,
not on the
exactly.
bike.
No, we do
Throttles
not
and
promote
bottles
that.
don't mix.
We could tell
Yeah,
a
we
story
can tell a
about
story
that.
about
Yeah. We'll talk about that next time. Well, I don't know. Yeah, that was
After hours.
before we changed our name. We was actually thinking about Throttles and Bottles. We was going to do like bourbon because we both drink bourbon all the time, and we like going to different places. He's got a collection that's probably worth a couple $1,000, but
Canadian 1,000, right?
Yeah, Canadian
Because we don't
1,000.
want anyone breaking into the house.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
No,
There's nothing too expensive there. Yeah.
and Max, other person who's on here all the time. He's a bourbon. I have 3 or 4 bottles, and I have one of the ones that everybody wants to get. So don't be trying to do that.
Pecan stuff?
Is that
That's the pecan. It's the great. It's a
Kentucky
liqueur.
Tavern, do you?
But either way, we don't promote that. But anyway, we was looking at that name because we wanted to do, motorcycle podcasts, and then we wanted to do podcasts on bourbon at the same time. So we was thinking, that'd be cool. So I went to India and was doing a ride in Tennessee. And the first thing it says, throttles and bottles don't mix. And I said, okay,
Yeah,
that was
can't
done.
use it.
Yeah. I bought the yellow water, I bought
Scratch.
everything. It was like, Jesus, man, it cost me like $200, and I just had to throw it on the garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I was setting this place up, I was trying to figure out a name. Every time I thought of something, that'd be great. And I don't have an original idea, so I got to check the internet to see who has it. It's like, God dang it, everyone has it.
Yeah.
And-
We went through the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took like 2 weeks to finally get the name. And I looked everywhere, and I just couldn't find anything that I liked.
Yeah.
It's just hard because everybody's got it. And,
Yeah, it wasn't
and
taken.
if they do have it, they're sitting on it. They ain't doing nothing with
Right.
it.
So you had a similar experience then trying
Oh,
to find a
yeah,
name.
absolutely. Yeah, every name I thought of, someone else already thought of it because, like I said, I don't have an original idea. And if I think of something, it's already out there. I was doing a home repair a few years ago, doing some caulking outside. My hand's just cramping up, and it's like, okay, I need an electric caulk gun. And I'm sure it had to exist because if I thought of it, somebody else had to think of it before me. And sure enough, there it is at Home Depot. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I
No
bought
original
one of them.
ideas.
I bought one of them battery operated ones because I was so tired of going like this all
Yeah.
the time. So I just got the little, what's that, Ryobi?
Ryobi.
Yeah.
That's what's back there right now. Exactly.
Yeah, I was like, this is so much easier.
Yeah, I'm a caulking master.
I just get someone to take care of it. I don't mess with it.
Yeah.
Now, I did see that you had air tools too, right?
Yeah, we have air
so-
tools available.
So, and do you have any battery operated ones yet? Or?
We have a few battery operated tools. Yep.
Okay. So that's, in a nutshell, this is what this place is, man. Do
Well,
everything, right?
It's a.
There we go. There we go.
That's the part of it. Where we're physically sitting right now is the social lounge, and as I mentioned with my uncle Bill and people coming in and sharing stories and talking about things, I really probably did spend half my time just listening to what people had to say about whatever was going on in their world at the time. So when we were putting this together, I wanted it to be more than just a place where somebody turns wrenches or is draining the oil on their bike. I wanted them to have the ability to socialize and not maybe cognizantly was I thinking, oh, I want to recreate what I had at Uncle Bill's place. But I definitely wanted people to have a spot where they could socialize, hang out, share experiences about riding, what they've learned, mistakes they've made. And we host watch parties for World Superbike and MotoGP in here. This is 1,200 square feet of space. And in the social lounge in the back where the improv group is hanging out, we have dedicated 1,100 square feet, and we have dance lights. We have a PA system up. The bands can come in and rehearse. As you can tell, Improv Cincinnati is rehearsing in there. So I wanted that to be a spot where entertainers of different sorts could come in and have a place, because I play drums, and bands always need a spot to rehearse in. So I wanted that to be available for musicians to be able to rehearse and do shows as well. So to really integrate the community aspect of a community garage, not just for motorcyclists, but motorcycling to be the keystone of it, but with a little bit of art and entertainment as well.
So how's that work? Say I've got a rock and roll band, we're 102 decimals, and we need someplace to practice. How do I get in here to practice, man?
We don't let everybody in. But, a rock band, if you want to come in and rehearse, that's fine, with the understanding that first and foremost, we are a working motorcycle garage. And you were talking about the air tools, and if you're trying to rip a great solo and you hear the air ratchet going and that bothers you, then this probably is not the spot. But if you can integrate it, that sound in your solo, that's great. Just we'd have to check you out. Don't sing about dead puppies and stuff like that. Nothing offensive, because this is a family-friendly environment. As long as the songs aren't too raunchy or crazy, I really don't concern myself with it. But if somebody wants to rehearse here, all they got to do is just reach out and find a time that works.
Speaking of that, you have some events, right, coming up?
We do have some events. I mentioned we do the watch parties for World Superbike and MotoGP. So this Sunday, both races are happening. We're going to have that live here for the MotoGP because it's the race of the Americas. And then where is World Superbike? They're Portugal this weekend. That's going to be on tape delay. And then I got to cheat and look at my notes here.
That's okay.
That's okay.
On Sunday, April 13th, we have accident scene management. That's a workshop being put on by the Road Guardians, basically roadside first aid. How do you manage the scene to keep traffic away? How do you keep yourself safe? How do you keep the crash victims safe? Actually, a triple header. We have MotoGP and World Superbike race the same day.
Oh, nice.
And then Saturday on April 27th, the 10 years late Scooter Club is having their Saturday ride kickoff here for their rally.
Aaron better be with us.
Is that the one, Aaron? Yeah.
Yeah. So there will be about 100 scooters here that day. Cool. So we're going to be doing a big thing of eggs and bacon for them. But that's also kicking off our Saturday Scramble series, where we will do one Saturday every other month where we do a bunch of bacon and eggs. People come in, grab a plate of food, scan a QR code, and go hit a really cool ride.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So do any of these events cost anything to come in, like the MotoGP? And
the
that kind of stuff?
MotoGP, the watch parties, that's all free. It's bring your own beer kind of a thing. And we do a $5 grill where burgers, Mets, stuff like that's $5 if you don't bring something in to eat. The roadside or the scene management class, that's $55, and that's limited to 20 participants. That way the instructor can make sure everyone is learning what they need to learn for
So
that.
sign up online for that. Is that what you do?
Yeah, sign up online at motofed.com. Go to the events tab, find something you like, sign up for it. And the GP stuff, race stuff like that, most people are responding through Facebook and other social media.
Okay.
Now, have you thought about doing the King of the Baggers?
I would definitely host King of the
I
Baggers.
mean, that's getting popular.
Yeah, we've been talking about the Moto America stuff.
And there's a race right up here in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to-
I'm going to. I don't know what you have going yet, but
We'll figure that out.
yeah, we'll figure that bad boy out.
Bridges, right? Cross to it.
Yeah. So do you have it in here?
We have it right
the
in here.
lounge?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had our first one a couple weeks ago. We had about 30 people, I think, in here throughout the day. Some came in waves because there are 3 races. And we decided for the first race that TV is okay. But that's a 42 inch. But we have a 10-foot projection screen
Yeah.
and projector in the back. So we'll be able to do that as it gets more popular and we need more space.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably be the best experience there. Now, are you looking into getting different licenses? Maybe actually have like a little lounge inside out there too, and
Like an alcohol license?
Yeah, kinda
like,
yeah,
you
you trying to
when
stay
I was-
away from that?
Yeah, I bartended in college and managed a restaurant for a little bit as part of that. And I just don't want that responsibility and liability. Now, that being
understand.
said, in Ohio, I don't know about other states, but you can get a liquor license and you can lease that out to another operator. And when we were looking for our space, in the back of my head, I thought it'd be really cool to have a little moto grill and tavern where we could do that. But even in that instance, I would still probably lease that out to another operator.
Sure.
Yeah, there's some businesses near me, and they actually have there's a company that actually does that for them. They own the restaurant,
Yeah.
but they lease it out to this restaurant operator, and they just take care of everything for them, which is pretty cool because they just get the money, you know.
Right. Yeah, we got to put the money up to get
Yeah,
the money.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Now, who knows? You know, like you said, this is 2025. In a few years, we might want to try to do that. But right now, no.
yeah, because I mean, as you get popular, you're probably going to have something, you know, probably like some kind of food thing related, possibly
Yeah,
that you can actually have. You have food trucks now, right?
Yeah, we had food trucks here for our grand opening. We bought a grill for our watch parties. We might be hosting a bike night for one of the local riding groups. One of our members works for a very popular restaurant downtown. They have an out service available, so we might be using them. Can't use their name because we haven't come to an agreement yet. But if I said it, everyone would know exactly who I'm talking about.
Gotcha.
That's cool. Well, let me put a break in there. So if you guys are watching right now, please put a thumbs up for like. You know, we got 3 so far. The more you like it, the more it gets around in the YouTube algorithm. And also, if you ain't subscribed yet, please subscribe. All right, so we got 11 guests here. Come on, we'll get some questions here for Lee here. All right.
Yeah, the chat is very silent tonight. That's kind of odd. Usually we get bombarded and people saying hi and have a question or two. But
I found out last time there was a lot of people that was on YouTube because we get the comments on Facebook and YouTube, but sometimes Facebook kind of, you know, I don't know, bugs out. But a lot of people didn't understand how to, on their phone, to make comments on YouTube. And it's kind of hard. You got to do a special screen or you got to minimize the screen and it pops up and stuff like that.
puts it right down here and you type.
Yeah. So that's how you do it. So let's get some questions out there.
You type. You can tell we're in the same generation. You type it. It's not texting.
You got to text us.
You gotta, just text us your message. So if we have no questions, that means we've informed incredibly well, or we've put everyone to sleep.
I think we're still, no, I don't think anybody's sleeping.
Nobody's sleeping. So you know, when I look around, it looks like you've done a lot of work. You know, some light construction, some painting, and you know, what was this place before you moved in here?
So we got I'll give you the long answer to the short question on that, actually.
Okay.
So I had mentioned that when this was a concept and I was just running my mouth about it, it got to a critical mass point where I had to make a decision if I'm going to do this or am I just going to tell everybody, oh, it was a great idea, but I'm not doing it. During the holidays of 23, I sent out a survey. I set it up on SurveyMonkey, sent it out to different riding groups around town, talked about it, shared some links to it at different events, and over 500 people responded to that survey in the affirmative of varying degrees that yes, they would use a space like this. So after that, in February of 24, that's when I started looking for space because I had enough. And to back up a little bit more, I'm a financial advisor, and I've had clients come to me with business opportunities and being asked to buy a franchise or invest in something. And I'll do the analytical work on it, and I'll come back and say, you shouldn't do this, and here are all the reasons why, or you need more information before you give them a yes or no. And so I found every reason I could to not do this business. And honestly, like I said, there are about a dozen of these type businesses in North America. There used to be more. COVID, for various reasons and effects, put a lot of them out of business. It wasn't so much the fault of the business owners. It's just what happened with COVID and social distancing. And unfortunately, they were just victims of the situation. So after doing all my analysis and trying to talk myself out of it, and let's be honest, I was a little bit biased where I was hoping I wouldn't talk myself out of it because of the interest. Other financial advisors play golf. I'm terrible at golf, so I needed something to do there. But after the analysis made sense and knowing what I had to do to make this work, February of last year is when the search for space started. I had a potential space up in Norwood. And in the 11th hour, the other tenant of the building exercised their right of first refusal of using that extra space. So that shut that down. And we looked for several months trying to find a spot. And to share a little bit more insight into that, the city of Cincinnati with their, not the chamber, the Port Authority, they own several industrial properties. And those properties, for the most part, are owned under the Industrial Revitalization Program. And the IR program is designed to help bring manufacturing jobs back to Cincinnati and the Hamilton County area. That's great. But unfortunately, with that directive, they cannot lease or sell those properties to someone who's not bringing in manufacturing jobs because they want payrolls for the city, to help fund city operations, which makes sense. The Port Authority owning so many properties that I was interested in put a constraint on the available properties that were truly available to me. And so it created a shortage in the market of what was available to me.
Gotcha.
And so it got to the point around August of last year where I told my realtor, it's like, look, if we don't find a space soon, this is going to have to be shelved until the springtime. And we found a building literally around the corner from the building in Norwood. Great space, beautiful floors. The family, it's owned in a family trust, and they own several properties in the region. And they had spent about $7,000 sealing and polishing the concrete. It looked so incredible. It looked wet the whole time. Oh, wow. So we go through the building and we talk about, I give them a copy of my business plan, the financials and everything. Two of the projects that we'd like to do here, number one is we want to work with a veterans group where we can help a disabled veteran modify their motorcycle in some way that they can keep riding. And the other one is to work with a group similar to Magic Wheelchair. Magic Wheelchair, they work with young adults and kids, and they build Halloween costumes for children who are in wheelchairs or on a mobility device that incorporates that into their costume. Turn a wheelchair into a race car or a motorcycle. Very cool. So we wanted to host those type of events here and work with those types of organizations. So I share this with the family, and it's part of the business plan. And we go through everything and talking about, and I wasn't even wearing a work shirt. I had actually come from a business meeting, so I had a suit on. The very first thing they asked me is this a bike gang type thing? So it's like, you didn't hear a word say it. But it's their property. It's up to them to decide what type of tenant they want.
Sure.
Similar to the Port Authority owning several properties, this family, through their business trust, owns about a dozen industrial properties in the region. So anytime we found something that I thought would be a good fit, we had to look up on the county auditor's website to see who owned it. Oh, okay. The Port Authority was very forward, and they were very nice and kind, and they loved the idea. They just couldn't guarantee if they rented to me that they couldn't give me more than 30 days notice to vacate if they sold or found. Wow. And I understand. We want to bring the jobs back. But this family, with not wanting me at all in their properties, it shortened the list of available properties. So to get back to what Les was saying, all the work we've done in here, we found out about this space towards the end of August of last year and could not get in here just because of scheduling and everything until about mid-September. And what was here before, what you actually asked, was a small beer distributor. And they got bought out by a company up in Columbus, so they consolidated operations up there. So we got in, we signed the lease October 8th, and we opened November 2nd, 25 days later.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
So
I think you had some heavy lifting to accomplish before you could actually get in here, right?
Yeah.
Of course, getting it ready to go and getting your lifts and things in place and getting it into shape from the prior tenant.
Yeah, and it wasn't all me. We've got a great set of member volunteers who came in and helped me. This facility was a cabinet manufacturer for about 4 decades. And so there was about an inch of sawdust on all the trusses and everything. So we had to scrape sawdust, vacuum it out, paint. It just wasn't all me. So we had a great team of about an additional 5 people putting this all together, painting, hand stenciling the logo behind us. Then come to find out afterwards, we had a vinyl decal put on there in about 10 minutes. But still, a lot of work and care and love went into getting this place ready for everybody else.
Sure.
All right, so we got a question.
All right.
859. All right, let me roll.
859.
Yeah, they're creators around here. Do you rent space by day, week, or month?
Yes.
There you go.
You can get a day pass. We do have a monthly rate, and that's $150 a month. If someone doesn't need a full month, but they need more than a day, then we'll just prorate the monthly rate for them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
As a matter of fact, we just had one of our members was storing his bike, and his monthly renewal came up, and he had tried to get here a week earlier, but couldn't. And because of our security camera, I had footage, and I'm like, oh, yeah, you did show up during off hours. So we ended up just giving him back his renewal rate because it didn't make sense to try to charge him for that. So a long answer on the short question, if it's daily, weekly, or monthly.
There you go. Let us know if you got any more questions there. All right. I got to make sure. It looks like he doesn't have yet, but he just probably heard that. It's got a delay, so he'll be there for a few minutes.
Yeah, 15 or 20-second delay on the YouTube feed here.
Nightbot just joined, so I got to configure him a little bit. But anyway, all right. I still haven't configured my Nightbot. Get it off that freaking old name.
Oh yeah, the Nightbot.
One of them things, man. I tell you.
Well, day at a time.
It really speaks volumes, though, to the motorcycling community and to your friends, and they could come in and help you put something like this together in such a short amount of time.
Yeah,
because when I look around, I can certainly appreciate the amount of work that's been done here, and I can see it and sense what you've done. And again, it really speaks volumes to the motorcycling community to come in and help and and get things going.
Yeah, I kid that it's more than just a social space or a workshop. It really is sort of like a second home for the motorcycle community, because bike nights are fun, but sometimes you just want to sit down, have something to eat, have a beer. Throttles and bottles don't mix. Don't drink and drive. And just hang out with other like-minded individuals, and as well to meet new people that you may not have met. Motorcycling, like anything else, can be very cliquish, where you ride with certain types of riders or you ride with certain types of motorcycle brands or things like that. This really, I want it to be a crossroads where people can learn about, if you're a sport bike rider, learn about the V-twin crowd, or if you're somebody who rides Groms all the time, here's your chance to learn about the off-road, whatever that is, to cross-pollinate the interests. Yeah. I may own it, but it really belongs to the community.
Sure.
All right, let me check and see if we got any more comments yet.
I don't see any here yet. Okay. Let's see. How many spaces do you have? And you said you have lifts.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have 2 pneumatic lifts where they are lifted by a mechanical device. We have 10 work benches available. I did a layout of the space. We have space for 30 workstations and can store 80 additional motorcycles.
Wow.
Wow.
Our total square footage is 7,700 square feet.
Yeah. So behind the bars, before they ask, tools, because that'd be the next question.
Yeah.
Because I've seen these guys' videos and they like to work on their bikes. They put on exhaust, and do stuff. So, tools, you said you have tools.
Yep. Every single workstation has an identical set of standardized mechanics tools, your wrenches, your sockets, your screwdrivers, pliers, Allen wrenches, stuff like that. If you need specialty tools like a fork seal driver, or we were talking about specialty tools with the fork seal clamps, or if you're like, I did the cams on my Indian motorcycle and you need a special tool for that. We have that here. That gets in a special tool locker. If you're working on that project or a project that needs a specialty tool, we just sign it out so we know which bench and which person has that tool. That way, if somebody else needs it and it's not put back, we know where to go find it.
Now, do you have any people who would come in and say, I needed help putting cams in my Indian? Do you have anyone who could come in for like an hourly rate and assist with any of that?
We don't have a mechanic on staff, and this kind of goes back to the insurance requirements in Ohio. We are not a for hire facility. We are strictly a do it yourself.
Okay.
And the reason that is because in Ohio, the way the insurance laws are written is if we start working on bikes or we provide a mechanic, then we take on the liability if there's something wrong, just like any other service facility does. The difference in Ohio is that a for hire and do it yourself facility cannot be under the same roof unless there is a physical barrier between the two of them. Where we are now could be one side of it, the other side could be the for hire. If you're working on your bike in the do it yourself space and you need someone, a mechanic on staff to come over and help you like do your cams, they cannot come over here and do the work. The bike has to leave the do it yourself space. A new work order has to be written up for the for hire space. Then you cannot touch it. The mechanic has to do the work. Then you bring it back into the do it yourself space. That's Ohio. In California, those two benches could be right next to each other, and one person could be working on their own stuff and working on a customer's bike back to back.
That's crazy. So if I brought my bike in, could I bring in an outside mechanic on my own?
You
and have them
absolutely
work
can.
on it?
Yeah. You can bring a buddy in to help you. If you do have someone that's working on your bike for you, there is a release we have that you and your friend sign saying that you are not representatives of Moto Federation, that you're doing the work yourself. You take on all responsibility and liability for it. Absolutely. Yeah, you can bring 10 friends in to help you out.
Yeah, and I think I can answer this one too because we were asking him the same thing. Can we video there? Yes, you can video, right?
Absolutely, you can videotape here.
As long as you what? Go ahead.
No, I encourage it.
As long as you have the Moto Federation logo on the film.
Just like creep in.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful place. It's lighted pretty well. I mean, I didn't see any problems with lighting out there. I mean, you guys can see the movie that I played earlier. The lighting's perfect.
Yeah,
so, it should work.
Yeah. So what we're doing right now, this live stream podcast, going back to the video question, in the entertainment area where the stage is, we're going to set that up to where other podcasters can come in and podcast live from here using our cameras and microphones. So, but if someone comes in and they're working on their bike and they just want to film it, they are absolutely welcome to do so.
Yep. Yeah. Now, one of the other things that I guess I'll change track because remember when at the beginning we said, what if we run out of things to talk about?
Well, we'll talk real slow.
We'll talk real slow. But,
I know what that is now.
oh yeah? What,
Now?
you know what that was?
1975.
Oh, so that means he's about, I ain't gonna say it. Never mind.
14 Greyhounds, wasn't it?
It was 14 buses, I believe, and he did it up here at Kings Island.
Yeah.
Kings Island, 1975.
They do not have a tire changer yet.
We do have a tire.
Oh, you
changer.
do? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I
we
didn't
have
see one in there.
it's because it's packed away in its gym bag.
In a gym bag.
You mind grabbing that? So
Yeah.
that's Mark, everyone, by the way.
Mark.
So we have a Rabaconda manual tire changer.
Okay.
I bought it a couple years ago. because I was going through 3 sets of tires every 2 years on my bike. And you start doing the math, if you take your bike into the dealership, what they charge you, if your bike, as is, they're going to charge you more versus if you just take them the wheel and the tire. But it's at the very least $50 at the very least per tire.
Yeah.
So I figured, okay, if I'm doing, 3 sets of tires every 2 years, that's 6 tires, and I'm not paying $50, I'm paying a little bit more. And you start, you're like, oh my gosh, okay. The financial advisor in me says, you know what you should do? You should buy a tool and justify it with math.
I don't have a problem changing the tire itself. It's taking it off the bike and putting it back on the
Holy
bike.
cow.
So I don't know if we can get that in camera.
Yeah, I'll just keep it right there.
Yeah.
All right.
That looks like an aerobic workout device.
So we do have a tire changer, and obviously you're going to go, but it folds up, disassembles. It's all ratchet based. For my bike, I have what's considered a heavyweight bike. I can do the rear tire on my Indian Springfield from the moment of getting access to the axle to taking the tire off and changing it entirely in 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There you go. Instruction manual.
I never minded pulling the front wheel. I mean, that's easy enough. Just getting underneath that back fender and getting the back of the bike high enough, get the wheel out and things like that.
Yeah, it takes me longer to take my saddlebags off and taking the muffler off my bike than it does to actually change the tire.
Yeah.
We have a balancer in the back as well. If somebody wants to use wheel weights, whether it's the silver or the black, we've got both available. I personally went to Balance Beads a few years ago. So that's why it only takes me 15 minutes to do the tire on an Indian Springfield, because I'm balancing it with the balance beads. Now, get it inflated, get it back on, get it lined up, get the belt aligned properly, good to go.
Sure.
So yeah, tire changer is here. And if someone changes their tires here, they can leave their tires here. There is not a tire disposal fee. We have
That's a big plus.
Yeah.
We've worked on an agreement with a local tire chain where we can bring them used motorcycle tires, and they will dispose of them at no cost to us. Now, that being said, if I show up one day with 100 tires and show up next day with another 100, they may change their tune on that.
You have a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, the next questions were, do you have a tire changer and a balancer? So,
Yeah, we do.
So yeah, there you go.
Answered that.
Yeah. So,
Oil too. You discard the oil as well, correct?
yeah. So, yeah, we can, we'll dispose of the oil for you. You do not have to take it with you. Brake fluid, if you do a brake line flush, you can leave that here. If you do an antifreeze flush, if your bike is liquid cooled, you can leave the old antifreeze here as well. We have to know that you're going to do that just so we can plan ahead for our disposal. The only fluid that you have to take with you is if you flush your gas tank, you've got to take your old gas with you.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Now, how you dispose of that, as long as you're not burning it out in our parking lot or the back alley, that's up to you.
Maybe I should bring my motorcycle up here and do the oil change. Me and
Yeah, no, it'd be a lot easier than crawling on the ground, you know?
have Connie be the camera person.
Yeah.
She's very good at that.
Yeah. Live
Yeah.
stream it.
Live stream it. Exactly
Yeah.
right. We could do that.
Yeah. I'll don 9 and 1, and then we'll see how it goes.
I don't know you want to live stream it or not. You're going to want to cut that video.
Yeah. It'd be too low.
Get the bad words out of it.
Yeah.
Look how easy this
Son of a-
is.
oh my God. Dang, I hit my freaking hand. Jesus, my knuckles. Yes.
You're wrapping up, you got 20 Band-Aids on. Well, that was a great job, easy as can be.
Why in the hell did they put the damn oil filter underneath this? But yeah. So behind the bar is 859. Looks like they might be hitting you guys up. We'll see.
All right, come on down.
Yeah.
We are going to have an industry night where we invite other mechanics and shop owners down just to talk shop and share some beers and pizza and get to know each other a little bit better.
So I got a question for you. How big is the parking lot?
That's a trick question.
Depends if you go stack them 2-3 deep or if
Yeah. So parking out front, we have 3 parking spots. One is right in front of the building. And then as you are coming down York Street, if you follow GPS, it will tell you you have arrived when you are at the front of the building.
Yes.
And directly to the right of that is a parking lot that's attached to the U-Haul facility on Dalton Avenue. We have access to that parking as well.
Okay.
Then the street behind us is McLean Avenue. It looks like an alley, but it's a street. And you can park on the eastern side.
So how many bikes can you get? in here?
In the building?
I mean, no.
In the parking lot?
Yes.
Let's find out.
I think we could.
I think we should.
I think after we're done with this, I got an idea. I want to put.
Yeah.
I think we've got something going on.
I know if you calculate each parking space to 2.5 bikes, I think that's what the standard math is for, 'cause some bikes are bigger, some are smaller, but 2.5. I know car wise, we can get 24 cars out front right here.
Okay.
So 24 times 2.5 is something.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we get done
48
with
plus
this, I don't
what
want
is
to.
that? 60?
I don't want to give out my idea yet, but we'll wait after we're
No.
done.
Now, are we using our pallet racking or not?
No. This is good.
Do we have a fork left? Behind the bars has
see
another
what-
question.
Yeah. Yes, he does. Yeah. He said price for a day.
First time it's 45. If you return, it's 35 a day.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do multiple days in a row, then we'll work out a friendly rate because I don't want to charge somebody 35 days or $35 a day for like 5 days. It's just at that point you've paid for a month, and so if you're going to do a 3 or 4 day job, we'll figure something out.
Yeah, he says, do you have a by the hour rate?
If
I would say just do the whole day. I mean,
I would say
not
do
that
it by the whole
expensive.
day and tell 2 buddies to bring their bikes in with you. Do them one right after each other.
There you go.
Yeah, make friends.
Well, Behind the Bars has several bikes, so that's
They got
probably
3
a
or
good
4.
possibility for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
they're all broke down.
That is not true. That is not true, Chris.
Just kidding. I'm kidding with you guys, man.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next comment from Behind the Bars to come up.
Moto
gotta-
Federation
we
has
got-
no responsibility.
We got to have some kind of drama.
Dun,
they're,
dun, dun.
no, they're good guys, man. I'm just kidding with them.
Talk about the circus that you drove.
What?
Talk about the circus that you drove.
Talk about the circus?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, this has been a great podcast. Very lots of knowledge here, man, about this place. I mean, I think people will be excited about it. I mean, you can use this as much as you want. Promoting on your, cut it up if you want to. I'll give you a copy of it.
Yeah.
We use it as an advertisement for you. But that's what we are. We're about local businesses, local bars, because we're working out some deals with some bars, doing other things, and also local businesses. Like right now, usually I'm with Northern Kentucky Indian, but today I'm on this side of the river, so I got the actual Cincinnati Indian of Cincinnati shirt on today. A great group of people up there, and we support them. So, yeah, I'm not biased. I'll do Harley too, but every time we've talked to a Harley, they've just turned us down. I mean, they just don't want. They're scared.
Do you show up in your Indian gear? I mean,
No. I got a Harley hat in the truck. I got a Harley jacket. I got a Harley clothes, and they're just still scared. Yeah, it's just scared.
yeah.
Yeah, so they don't break down too often. Laugh out loud.
Well, he says my next question was, we have 3 bikes.
Yeah,
So that was going to be,
I think the best thing you can do is probably come down here and see Lee and tell him what you're going to do, and maybe work out an agreement or something.
Send me an email, give me a call, let me know what you're thinking. I want to make it as efficient for our members as possible. I don't need to make the least payment on one guy or one person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know if you, when you look at this video, rewatch it, look at the video I put in there. I know it's pretty fast paced, but just watch that video and you'll see this whole place. This is pretty big, big place, man. It's massive. I mean, you could probably put another set of the same amount of lifts on the other side.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
more. I mean,
Yeah,
you
like I
got
said,
plenty of
we've got,
space.
I know we have space for at least 25. And the way we have set up right now, it's really spread out. But there's a program online that lets you lay out warehouse space. And I use that in different configurations in here. And we can do that. We can put at least 25 workstations in, still have space for another 80 motorcycles, and maintain our entertainment area and maintain the social lounge.
And it looked like a lot of your lifts are kind of based off the military design.
Yeah, it's the basic 2 foot high, 8 foot long, reinforced with 4x4s. Yeah.
And the other thing I was going to ask you now, I know this right now it's probably pretty easy, but a lot of people when they're working on their bike, one of the things I do is I look up YouTube videos.
Yeah, absolutely.
So are you planning on doing maybe like a little console, little area where they can plug in their phone and so they can look at a bigger screen and say, oh, I now know where I'm at.
I actually have a computer at the house and a big, it's either 21 or 23 inch monitor for that. So someone can get online, download the service manual for their bike, look at it online. If they need to print out pages, that's fine. But like you said, watch the YouTube videos, how to do it. When I did the cams on my Indian, that's exactly how I did it. I had my laptop right here, sitting on an extra workbench stool thing, and I'm just turning wrenches, watching some video, rewinding it, watching some more video. Funny story, haha, funny now, because it turned out okay. There's a cam key on the cams that the gears go onto or slide to lock into place. And I had stuffed my engine cavity with rags because I did not want to drop a cam key down in the compartment. And as I'm turning the cam and getting ready to release the tension, it slips on me. And all of a sudden I hear tink. And it's like, and sure as shit, the cam key fell off and it fell into the engine case. And so it's like this little nook that I didn't have the rags up in there. So I'm pulling them out, and I got the grabber tool, and I'm fishing and nothing's come out. And then I'm like, well, maybe it fell on the ground. Again, this is in my driveway, so there's gravel and shit everywhere. And I'm like, please, with the grabber tool, in pure panic mode, because on our bikes, the only way to get a cam key out, you got to split the cases. And I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, oh my God. This is gonna be $3,000 just to get a stupid little piece of metal out. So I'm sweating out of fear and aggravation, and plus it was just hot that day. So I've got the grabber tool, and I'm fishing around. And at this point, I'm just getting mad. I'm like, screw it. If I get this grabber tool stuck in here, I don't care, because if they got to open it up anyway, then might as well get my money's worth. And I shove it in there, and all of a sudden I hear tink. I'm like, and I pull it, and it's right there on the end. So,
lucky.
Oh my God, I was so lucky. But yeah, I did my cams by watching YouTube videos, and some help from other people in the Indian community who have done these cams before. So yeah, long answer on a short question again. Yeah, you can come down and look at our resource library.
Yeah, it's a great resource. I mean, if you want to know anything, go to YouTube.
Right.
Basically that.
Well, I have similar experience working on things. Anything I drop will find that tiny little opening, that tiny little sliver, and drop down in the worst possible place where you got to pull an exhaust and a side case off it. It just turns a 10-minute thing into a 3-hour ordeal. So I have a similar experience.
I got to ask you a question. Do you have problems finding your tools after you just like use them for something you lay down? I'll be like,
Have you seen my garage?
Yeah, I've seen your garage. I'm just saying, mine's small too, but for some reason, I still lose the wrench. I still lose the socket. I still lose the bolt. I mean, it's like, where'd I lay it down at? It's like, it's crazy.
So I have this little scooter seat with a rack underneath. So as I'm using tools, I take them, I put them in the little rack underneath. So I always know right where they're at. And then on you've seen them on my walls. I mean, they're put in there right in order by size, by metric, by standard, by deep well socket, standard socket. They're all grouped.
Mine's in a box. No, can't toolbox.
The only tool we don't have.
But I am going to do the pegboard stuff like you did.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
The only tool we don't have, and I can't explain it, is a 10 millimeter.
I can understand.
Oh my Lord! So that's kind of a joke, right? Where's my 10 millimeter? But I actually went and bought like 3 deep wells and 2 standards, and I have them all together on one rack.
So you have lost them before you
God,
did that.
yes.
Oh, yeah. So okay, I just wanted to make sure you're not perfect.
The 10 millimeter is like the most elusive socket out there. That thing will disappear into thin air.
Yeah. I think instead of a engagement ring, you should give somebody a 10 millimeter. That's love right there.
I think they sell them in like 10 packs on Amazon.
All right. Well, I think if we can end it at that.
Yeah.
Anything else? Well, there's one last thing, and this will be the last 10 minutes, I guess, or less than 10 minutes. We didn't talk about what else you do here. You kind of sell stuff, don't you?
We do sell stuff. We sell bikes on consignment, and we sell riding gear on consignment as well. If you've changed weight or you've changed style of riding and the gear you have just no longer fits what you want to do with it, bring it in as long as it's in usable condition, and we sell it on consignment. Same thing with bikes. If you're changing riding styles or you just don't want to deal with the public of trying to sell a bike, you can bring it in and we'll help you sell it.
Ah, cool. Very cool.
And those transactions are all person to person, so we actually don't even have to handle the money.
Oh, sweet. Well, I just wanted to get that last point in there because we overlooked it, but
We sell hope. We sell a lot of hope.
Oh, hope.
Hope, not Coke. Hope. 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 Coke, that's the disco ball.
Oh my gosh, Jesus. All right, let me find the good music here. All right, folks. Thanks for watching. Please give us a likes. If you're watching this at a later date, give us a like, share, subscribe, and we'll probably be back here again. We got to talk about something, though. We got to talk about something.
Chris has an idea.
Oh my gosh, when these ideas go. I'm not going to share it with nobody yet.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Top secret.
Top secret.
Yeah. Need to know basis.
All right. You got anything, Miles? We never told. Where's the address? What's the address?
1213 York Street, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45214. www.motofed.com.
And phone number?
513-322-5327. I had to think about that.
Oh, man.
Because I used to memorize phone numbers by what it would spell. And now I have to do that.
Oh, got merchandise
Oh,
here?
yeah, we got
bring
merch,
it
too,
over
yeah.
here. Bring it over here.
Yeah.
This song goes a while. He actually does his own screen printing, but this one you got actually made in Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, that's printed for us by NKR Brands. The owner of the company is also a head motorcyclist here in town.
My hand froze up. I'm getting. Oh, and he got a bunch of hats. He's got a hat right here. I'm about to get one of them hats. I like them actually.
Autographed used oil filters.
I'm not buying that. And we got a women's shirt too. And we got men. Yeah,
We got tank tops.
Tank tops.
Yep. And not that this is a big secret, but in 2027, we're going to have a Moto Men calendar.
Okay.
See, there's a reason I was getting my Speedo body together.
There he is. He's been waiting. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to watch the YouTube video we're going to do here with your tights on. All right. Have a good night, folks.
We're going to end on that note.
There you go.